Resizing and Transforming assignment. So we're going to go into our instructional materials folder. We're going to go into the week number 6, and we're going to go into day 11. Right? So once you go into that folder, the assignment should be in here. Right? So I'm going to click on Resizing and Transforming, and I have some instructions in here on how to complete the assignment, but I'm going to go over how to complete it with you guys today. So if you scroll to the bottom, I have a worksheet, right, with some shapes on it, and I also have a image, right? You guys are free to use your own image if you prefer, but I usually have a stock image that you guys can use to finish your assignments, right? So here is this one. If you scroll more to the bottom, you will be able to see this worksheet or what it's supposed to look like when you turn it in, if you're using this image, right? Okay. So we're going to go all the way to the top, and we're going to click on the Photopea link, and it should open up the Photopea website, right? So here it is. I'm going to go back to Schoology, and I'm going to transfer over that first picture, which is the worksheet, right? So I'm going to click and hold, bring it up to the Photopea tab until it opens, and I'm going to let go in this space. I'm going to go of the image, right? And once I let go, it should load, and there it is, right? I'm going to bring over the stock image that I have in the assignment. You're going to drop it in this space, right? In this mid gray bar space, right? It's telling the computer I want to open it in a separate file, as a separate file, right? So I'm going to grab this picture, click and hold the same way, go up to the Photopea tab, and then you're going to drop that picture right here in this space. The picture is transparent, so you should be able to see where your mouse is on top of for the most part, right? So I'm going to let go in that space. Once I let go, it should load, and here is my picture, right? So now we have two different files open in Photopea, right? We need to keep them separate, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make a selection based off of ratio. So the most important line is this third line, right? The ratio one. We're going to make our selection. I'm going to go into the rectangle select. We're going to do square, square, and then circle, circle. That way we keep the same tool for both selections, right? So I'm going to go into this first square one, right? I'm going to go into the rectangle select tool. I'm going to click on it. There it is, right? It should also change the options over here in the options bar. We have the rectangle select. So once you click on it, it should switch everything up here. Okay. Once you have selected the rectangle select tool, you're going to go over here where it says free, and we're going to change the free selection to the fixed ratio on this second one. So it should change this check mark to where it says free. Once we click on it, it should be in this middle one. So I'm going to click, and if we go back in here, the check mark is now next to the fixed ratio one, right? That's what we want. And it should have also activated the boxes that are next to it. Right, so right here we have 1 and 1, and that's the ratio that we need for this selection. We're going to keep it 1 and 1, right? Once we click on the fixed ratio and we have the number that we need, which is 1 and 1 for this first one, we're going to go over to our image, right? So we have our rectangle select tool, it's activated, and then we change this to fixed ratio, and it says 1 and 1. Once you have those steps done, you're going to go over to your image, and you're going to make a selection on one of these symbols. It doesn't have to be in order, and it doesn't have to be the same one that I'm making, right? So I'm just going to choose this water one just because it's the first one, right? I'm going to make a selection around the water symbol. I'm going to make a square, and it should come out perfectly, right? I'm going to let go, and it should make a perforated line. I'm going to move my selection a little bit to the right. You can move it whenever you want to, or for example, if you change your mind and you want to do this one instead, you can, right? So I'm just going to leave it right here in the selection. Once you have your selection done, all you're going to do is edit copy and edit paste, right? We already have the perfect shape selected, so it should fit perfectly into that box. So I'm going to go to edit copy. You can also use the hotkeys Control-C to copy, right? And then I'm going to go back to my selection, and then you can go edit, paste, or you can also use your keyboard, your keys, Control and V. Right? So once I copy it over, it should be a little bit big, right? But we're just going to make this smaller, right? I'm going to tuck it into this corner right here, into the box. That way I only have to move it a little bit in, right? Right, so there it is. So you're going to be able to make this image smaller by going through the menu, or you can also press on your keyboard the hotkeys Control Alt and the letter T to activate the transformation, the free transform, right? But you can also go to the menu. I'm going to go into the menu, edit, right? And I'm going to go to where it says free transform. You can also click on your keyboard, Control Alt and the letter T, and it should do the same thing, right? Once I click on it, or you press those buttons, it will create squares around your image, right? So now I have squares around it, right? When you're resizing an image in a certain size, always grab one of the corner boxes. Don't grab the ones right here on the side. So I'm going to grab this one right here at the bottom right, and I'm going to hold the shift key down on my keyboard. That's a really important step for you guys to make to keep that perfect shape and for this image to fit perfectly into the square. Okay, make sure you hold the shift key down every time you resize an image according to size or by ratio, right? I'm gonna bring it in. I'm holding the shift key down as I'm resizing it, and I'm gonna let go once it's pretty in there, right? I'm gonna let go, and then once I'm done resizing, I don't want to make it smaller or bigger anymore. You can press Enter on your keyboard, and that should make the squares disappear, or you can go to the Move tool, and it'll do the same thing, right? I have a little space right here at the bottom. You can use the arrows on your keyboard. I'm gonna press the down arrow on my keyboard, and it can move the image little by little. So if you only want to move it a fraction to the left or to the right, and your mouse will probably not let you do that, you can use the arrows on your keyboard, right? So now it fit perfectly into my shape, right? So now we have the first selection done. Okay, so we're gonna go over to this second square, right? So we're gonna stay in the rectangle select tool. I'm gonna go back into it. I'm gonna click on it, and then we're gonna change the fixed ratio numbers to 3 and 2, right? So I'm gonna change it up here. Right here on the worksheet, it says ratio 3 to 2. So I'm gonna put in those numbers. I'm gonna type in 3, and then in the next box, I'm gonna type in 2, right? Exactly how it is on this third line where it says ratio. Okay, once I have those lines in there, I'm going to go to my second selection, right, which is going to be this fire one, for example, and I'm just going to make my selection, right? I made a rectangle type of selection. The size is already in there, so you don't have to worry about that, right? You're just going to make your selection, and then you're going to go to Edit Copy, right, and go to the worksheet, Edit Paste, right, or Control V. Control C and then Control V, right? I'm gonna go to the Move tool, and I'm gonna move this square, tuck it into this corner right here, and I'm gonna resize this. So I'm gonna go to Edit Free Transform right here in the menu, right? Or you can also press Control Alt and the letter T, same thing. I'm gonna click right here, Edit Free Transform, right? I'm gonna grab one of these corner boxes, this bottom right one, and I'm gonna grab it, hold the shift key down. If you don't hold the shift key down, you can move it however you want to, like this. And I wanna prevent that. So if you hold the shift key down, it prevents you from doing that. So if I try to like stretch it, it's not gonna let me anymore, right? So it stays in that perfect shape that we need in order for it to stay, to fill in the shape perfectly, right? So I'm gonna make it big enough, small enough for it to fit in the square. Once I'm done, I'm gonna let go of the mouse first and then the shift key, right? And there it is. You can press Enter on your keyboard, or you can press the Move tool, go back to the Move tool, right? In case you need to move it for whatever reason, right? But it fit perfectly. I don't need to stretch it anymore, right? The image should have fit perfectly in there. Okay, so now we're done with our first two selections. So let's move on to the circle ones. Right, so we're gonna go into the ellipse tool. So I'm gonna click where the rectangle select is. I'm gonna click and hold until this box comes out, right? So I'm gonna click right here where the ellipse tool is. So I'm gonna click, and it should change the symbol over here and in the options bar as well. So we're gonna change the same, the same menu, the same options, right? So we're gonna go to free, and we're gonna change it to fixed ratio. I'm gonna click, right, and now it activated the boxes next to it. Right here, the ratio is 1 to 1, so we're going to leave it again, right? We're going to go back to the image, right, to where our picture is, and then we're gonna make a selection. So I'm gonna make a selection of this earth symbol right here. Right, you can move your selection after you finish making your lines, right? And then you're gonna go to edit copy, right? And edit paste, right? So here it is. It's a little bit bigger than the selection that we have here. So we're just gonna move it right here to the top and we're gonna free transform it. So I'm gonna go to edit, free transform, or you can press Control, Alt, and the letter T. Right? I'm gonna grab one of the corner boxes right here and I'm going to make it smaller, holding the Shift key down, okay? Make sure you always hold the Shift key down when you are making your image smaller if you're doing it by size. Okay, once I make it smaller, I think that should be it. I'm gonna go back to the Move tool and it should fit perfectly in here, right? Perfectly. There it is. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the Ellipse tool. We're gonna make our last selection. I'm gonna change the numbers here, and the numbers right here are 3 and 2 as well. All right, so you're gonna go in here, you're gonna type in your number 3, and then your number 2. There it is. Once you have those numbers, you have your Ellipse tool and the 3 and 2 ratio, you're gonna make your last selection over here. Right, so this is the last one I'm gonna select. I'm gonna make an oval type of selection, right? Automatically it should be oval. I'm gonna move it a little bit to the center. There it is. I'm gonna go to edit copy, right? Go to the worksheet, edit paste, right? And there it is. I'm gonna go into the move tool, right? I'm gonna click on it and I'm gonna move this a little bit into the center. You don't really have to move it anywhere, I'm just gonna move it over here to the side. Right, so I'm gonna go to edit, free transform, right? I'm gonna click on it and until the boxes come out. I'm gonna grab one of the corner boxes and I'm going to bring it in while holding the Shift key down. Okay, make sure you hold the Shift key down. It's sort of like an insurance for you guys to make sure that your shapes stay the correct size and that you get an A in this assignment. Right, so I'm gonna move it to the center, and once I'm done moving it, I'm gonna go back to the Move tool. You can also click on Enter on your keyboard and it'll make those boxes disappear. Right, once you're done, you're going to you're gonna go to File, you're gonna go to Export As, you're gonna click on JPEG, right? You're gonna click on Save, and that assignment that downloads, that is what you're gonna submit into Schoology. Okay, and that is all.